is good music truly dead?
I think it's not dead, but it's in an undead status.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense. Let me elaborate. I think that music is undead right now because, in one hand, it's very difficult to find good stuff because of how crowded the streaming services, which is probably the only streaming services and social media, are probably the best ways for people to discover new stuff.
I'd say not the best, but
not
biggest.
the best, but it's the biggest. Good
Yeah.
point, because it's not the best due to the oversaturation of content. If we analyze it from the perspective of Instagram alone, you're fighting not only with other musicians if you're posting your stuff there, also with hot babes, also with guys doing stunts, cars, everything.
Gimmicks of all sorts. Yeah.
So you are not only, since music is partially entertainment besides being artistic, it's also entertainment to a certain degree. You're competing for the same spots that other forms of entertainment, which are much more successful, which are much more effective on those particular social medias, will always will over trump over you.
Yes.
Being a musician. But let's say that there is a chance for you to be found. What would you do if the only thing that you find out of a band, an up-and-coming band, that gets you quite excited to discover, and you're sharing it with everybody you know and everything, to discover that those guys stopped working in 2018. Their last album was released in 2018. Would you still be supporting a band that seems that they're done for? They had that chance, they only had that effort, and in reality, well, they couldn't survive the current climate.
Hypothetically speaking.
I'm talking about us. No, but it's actually what happened to us.
No, because the thing is that we are a representation of a way larger phenomenon. Because this that we're talking about here, we end up falling into this category as well. But there are many more that are going through the same or something very similar.
Yeah, the only thing that set us apart from other acts is the fact that I had this music production business as a support, some form of a cushion, if you wish. But we are lucky in that one, and we are blessed on that regard. But not everybody has access to the same chances.
Yeah, and just going back here to Harimaya, saying here, I really like some not very known bands just because they sound authentic and original.
Good.
That should be more commonplace. Unfortunately, not many people do this. I'm happy that you do, and I will be also very happy if you could share some of those with us.
Yeah, please do, because it's always great to find new music and be able to share with more people. Actually, it would be nice if I can even react or analyze one of our tracks on one of our tracks on their channel. And
look,
go ahead.
Using the hook that was introduced here, the culture of finding new music, that's also something that changed very dramatically.
It's lost.
It's lost basically because now with the whole being social medias and streaming services, the biggest means for distribution of music nowadays, the way that those work when it comes to prompting music is never favoring the new stuff.
Exactly. That's the reason why I mentioned that I find the whole musical aspect of our culture to be in and on that kind of status, because it's held by the legacy acts that are no longer, some of them are not active, and they haven't been active probably for the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Or we're simply being shown music that was produced by bands that are no longer active. So it's basically just a mirage, if you wish.
Yeah.
You're not actually dealing with a vibrant and active music scene anymore.
Yeah.
We're dealing with wherever remains of it.
Yeah, but the thing that you mentioned about how the consumption of music in the context of social media, let's say, changed the perception, the overall perception of music making as well. Not music making, of music.
Yeah.
Because since the whole thing that you mentioned about music competing for a space that's not necessarily just music oriented, you have entertainment of all sorts being there, you made music more... You created the need for music to become more entertaining than music was supposed to be.
Yes.
Because music is art, and art is made for you to feel things and to appreciate it. But it doesn't necessarily need to be entertaining.
No.
That can be an asset to music, but it doesn't necessarily need to be one aspect of music that's always going to be present.
100%.
And the thing is, once you get to a point where for your music to be seen, you need to add that entertainment element to it, basically what you're doing is skewing music making for it to be kind of working within boundaries of something that shouldn't be there to begin with.
I agree. I agree 100%. And you will stop making music for the sake of sake.
Mm-hmm.
You are making it out of in pursuit of the chance for it going viral.
Yeah.
And that's actually been what has been one of the biggest problems with modern music making. Look, being in this music production business for a while, I have also given lessons. That's where the whole, for those of you who know, one of the channels that we got here is me sharing with you some of my tricks that I learned doing this craft. And I have talked to people, and I have been like a teacher to several music producers. And some of them have brought up the idea of how can you make it go viral on TikTok? What's the secret behind it?
Mm-hmm.
And that already shows you that even the mindset has changed, and I think totally for the worst.
Yeah.
Because now certain mind frame or certain how can I put it, doctrines are being promoted. Don't necessarily speaking promoted would be the right word to do, but they are propagated, which are promoting the idea of making music that will go viral. Because if you think about it, and I'm usually hearing those particular points from younger generations, you can also find some form of correlation with the advent of finding success on platforms such as TikTok, short form content.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually affecting dramatically the way that music is being produced nowadays,
Yeah.
from a metaphysical perspective, because the idiosyncrasy behind the creation of music is now being quite controlled or morphed, if you wish, by this need of perceived success on platforms. Because if you ask any kid nowadays, what would your dream job be? It's influencer of any form.
Yeah.
Being a Twitch streamer, being a TikToker, being YouTube is not even in the list anymore, because YouTube requires way more work than the other two. And I'm not talking trash to anybody who is successful on those platforms. They did the right thing.
Yeah.
They found a niche and they capitalized on it. And as a capitalist pig myself, I have nothing to do than tipping my proverbial fedora. But that doesn't mean that it's a good thing. Right?
Yeah, and there are many layers to this issue, because you're talking about one aspect of the social mediaization of music.
I would point, I like that term.
But there's more to it, because even the nature of social media, and some more than others, let's say TikTok's probably on the extreme end of this that I'm about to say, is that everything is fleeting by nature. Because you can have your 15 minutes of fame, and of course some of the sensations, they end up lasting a little bit longer, but by the very nature of how the content is created and how the content is consumed, they are not meant to stick. They're meant to be replaced by the next one.
The next one. And that's what makes finding the good stuff hard.